So I'll come to this chat routes. So again, I'll import FastAPI. From FastAPI, import API router. And we need PandasAI. So I'll just copy this from here. And at this stage, this is a good idea that we keep our secrets in a .env file. So I'll create one .env file. And I'll copy this API key. And the mode. Okay, so we have it. Let me save it. And because we want to handle the file from the upload directory, so let's import the path from path. And then because we have the .env file where we have the API key and the model, so we need to import and load it into the memory. So let's import from .env, import load.env. And let's load our API key and model. So API key equals, and we'll also need to import OS to load it. So import OS. And while I'll be uploading this video on YouTube, I have this API key active, but it won't be active anymore by the time I upload this video. So don't try this API. Instead, create your own. And this is a free tier API, so you will be able to create your own and test it. Okay, we got this. Now let's get the directory. Which is upload. And the directory will always exist because we are, if it does not exist, we will make it from the file routes where we are uploading the file. But I think double validation is even a better idea. So I'll do dot make dir if it does not exist. And let's configure this PandasAI. So we have already seen the demo of how PandasAI work, the dependencies, right? So we are just making this LLM instance so that we can use it, just the configuration part. And instead hard coding here, I'll pass the model and the API key. Okay, we are good here. Now let's write our route. This is going to be a post method. Let's name it chat. And let's initialize this router as well. Now let's name this function chat with files. And here we'll use a Pydantic model to have the input. So let's create it. Let's create a class. Let's name it chat request. Base model. If I have not imported, let's import this from Pydantic. Import base model. So this Pydantic base model helps you validate the input or the output, which is again a good feature in FastAPI. So the user will pass the message, basically the chat. It will be a string, and then what we want all the files on which he is talking. So it will be a list of files. Let's create files list str, and we need to import list from API. We don't need. We need to import this from typing actually. So from typing. Okay, let's store this in request. Chat request. So basically, when the user initializes the chat, he will pass a message, and the file name. Basically, in the UI, the file names will be already selected. So the backend will understand these are the files where the user wants to query natural language. Okay, we are good here. Now, what we want to do? Here we want to first make a validation if all the files where he's trying to chat, so that this backend does not break. It's a good idea that we perform a validation first. So we'll check if the file already exists. If it does not exist, we'll throw a message stating that the file does not exist. So let's do. So let's run a loop. Why loop? Why do we need a loop? Because there can be multiple files. So to read all the files, we'll iterate over our loop, and we will load all the files in the Py data frame or Pandas data frame. And if you followed the official document, then here the question that you are asking, here you can pass multiple data frames. So like df1 and df2, or even more data frame df3. So this is what we are going to do. In the loop, we are just creating our data frame list that we will be passing in the chat service. So for file name, in request dot files, let's get the file. but we need to get the file path first. So we'll get the file path, and this is in upload directory by the file name. And if this does not exist, so what we want to raise an HTTP exception. So let's write this statement. If not file path actually dot exists, this is a method. Then we want to raise I have not imported HTTP exception. Let me import. With the status code 404, which is not found. And in the detail, we'll show file not found. Now, if the file is found, what we want to do? We want to read the file. And if the file is Excel, we want to use py.read Excel, or if it is CSV, we want to use py.read CSV. So let's perform a validation once again here. But before that, we'll need the extension of the file. So here we will have the extension of the file, and if extension equals .csv, then we will create a data frame py.read csv in the file path. And if the extension equals .xlx xlsx, then we will read this in Excel. Okay, so we are good here. Now what we want to do, we want to check if the user has uploaded single file or multiple files, or he wants to chat on a single file or multiple files. Accordingly, what we need to have these data frames in a list appended. So in that case, let's create a data frame blank list. And let's let inside the loop only, what we want to do, we want to append the df. So the loop will iterate if it has multiple files. All files, the data frames will be stored in this data frame list. Now it may have a single data frame or multiple data frames. So we'll perform a validation and use the method accordingly to chat on the data frame. So let's perform a validation by checking the length of this data frame. If the length of this data frame equals only 1, it means it has a single data frame. Then what we want to do? We want to store the response and we want to do py.chat, and here we have the question of the user, which is coming from request message. So we will use request dot message and the data frame here, because this is single data frame. So we will use data frame 0, the first data frame, because the length is 1. Let's write one else condition. If this is not a single data frame, then it has multiple data frames. Then what we want to do, we want to create this response variable once again, i.chat, and here we want to pass all the data frames. Okay, we are good here. Now the next thing, the response will store the answer from the data frame. And if you remember, we did some parsing of the response because we wanted to display the image here only in notebook. So we imported this IPython display, and we performed this display here. But in this case, we don't want to display, but rather we just want to return the path where the image is stored. And by default, PandasAI manages this export folder to export and store all the files, images. So what we want to do, we want to simply return the value now. But let's perform a validation if it has the type and the value, and let's return the value. Why value? Because if you remember, it was returning a class, right? Based on the response, it was a chart response. Then there was a type inside, what was the type of the response, and then the value. So for all the response, we want to have this value. It can be integer, string. In this case, it is a PNG file, and it can also be a data frame, but it will always be inside this value. So let if as attribute response if it has a type and it has a value, then we want to check if this is a chart. If this is a chart, then we want to return the value. I'm just thinking from the point of view how we are going to handle this in the UI. What is the best approach? So I think if I return a value, let's do one thing. Let's return the type and value both. It will make it easy to handle this in the UI. And in that case, I don't even need to write this is if a statement. I simply want to return response.value and type. So let's write type. Okay. Now this is a little lengthier. So at last, we're not sure if it throws some error. So what we are going to do, We'll wrap this in a try except block, and we'll raise a non-error, internal server error, if something still goes wrong. And for internal server error, the code is 500. Is it? Let's import the status. Yes, 500 is the internal server error. Okay, so this looks good. What is the issue here? Okay, M has to be kept. Let's save this. And in the main file, similar to how we imported this files out, we have to import this chat route also. So we'll do from backend dot chat route import router as chat router, and then we will include this in the app. Let's give it the same prefix. And in the tags, let's give it cat service. Let me save everything if I have not. Okay, now let's test this endpoint. Let me reload this Swagger UI, and we have this chat service here. Let's see if we have already some files uploaded. Yes, we do have. Now let's test if it is working. So files, this is the file I want to chat on, and let's ask simple how many records are there. Okay, so it is working. We got the type number and the value is 47. This is what we were returning. Okay, so we have completed the chat route also now. Let's go back to our architecture diagram. So we have completed this file service, chat service, the preview service. Now we are going to create the UI for this with the Streamlit. So for this, I have already this prompt where I have defined all the functional requirements, what I want the Copilot, VS Code Copilot to use, the UI UX requirement, the layout, the matrix card, chat styling, and the technical requirement. So I will do what? I'll simply copy this go in the VS Code, and here I need to select the agent, and I'll copy this prompt and I'll enter. Now I'll let it create this UI for me. Okay, so the app is created. Let's do this pip install Streamlit in a new terminal. And let's run the front end. The backend is already running. Let's run the Streamlit app, the front end. Okay, we have the UI. Now let's test if everything is working fine. So we already have one file uploaded. Let's see if the preview function is working. Yes, it is working. Let's see if it can answer my question. How many records are there? Okay, it is working. Now let me delete this file. And let me upload some new files now. I'll upload this company and people data. Okay, so we in company, let's see what we have. We have the company ID, name, industry, headquarter company, website, founded year, employees count, all these information. Okay, which cloud they are using and the tech stacks. Let's see what we have in the people. So in the people, we have the employee ID, name, and we also have this company ID to join. Experience years, all this. Okay, let me ask some question now related to these files. So I'll select company and people both. And I'll ask, show me the industry and their count. Okay, let's check our terminal for the error message. Okay, there we see we have this value error, type error. So I think it is coming from here because you see if it is an image, then it will return the path of the image. If it is integer, it should work with the value, string value. But in case of data frame, which is the response this time, it will send a data frame and the FastAPI is not able to handle the data frame response. Instead, we need to send it as a JSON format. So let's handle this. So here we will write a validation if response.type equals data frame. Then we want to return type will be response.type and the value will be the df.toDict orient equals records. So this is the method on Pandas to convert the data frame into JSON. And one more thing I'm expecting here, it might break. So what I'll do, it can break if it has float or null values in the data frame. So while converting to JSON, it will break. So what I can do, I think, let me make the data frame here. So we'll have the data frame already. Let's create the data frame here. So this will become the data frame. I just have named it. It may have value also, but no. Let's bring it inside this if condition. We want to do it only if it is a data frame. Okay. And then we want to check the update the type of this data frame columns. So I'll make it as type a string. This is not a good idea. Actually, you have to handle each columns, but for the time being, so that it does not break, this is a good idea to fix this issue. If you are converting the whole data frame into JSON, you have to take care of null values and float values because they are not converted into, they are not JSON friendly. So this is the way, one way to fix it. Not the ideal way though. Okay, so this should work now. If this is the case, then this, else return this. And this if is also opened. So let's close this also. Else return what I want to do if this has no type and no value. So I'll not, should I raise? Yeah, let's raise some exception. It's not return, but raise. And let's raise internal server error. So let me copy this. Okay, this looks good. There's one more issue I see. Inside the loop, I have this append, but this if condition and then this rendering part has to be out of this loop. I'll simply shift it. Okay, now we are out of the loop. Otherwise, what was happening inside the loop, it was always this condition was always true, right? Because it would go through the loop, it would have one data frame, it would start the chat on the single data. So on multiple data frames, we did not test it right now, so it was working on one data frame, but on multiple it would break. Now this looks good. Let's save it. Server reloaded. There's still some issue. Let's check it. Okay, internal server error. Let me print this exception here. List object has no attribute schema. Okay. So list object, I guess this issue is coming from here because one thing we are doing wrong. You see from the official document, we have to pass the multiple data frames here, comma separated, but we are passing a list of data frames. So we have to simply unpack this list into different data frames. So just a simple star will do this job. And if I save it once again, Okay, so it worked. So we have these industries and this is the count. Uh, each industry exists only one time, so that's fine. Now let me ask it which company has the highest annual revenue. Okay, Shopworks Global has the highest annual revenue. Let me preview the data to see what else I can ask. Let's ask which are the companies founded after year 2016. Okay, these are the companies, 4 companies. Let's ask some questions from Tech Stack. Which are the companies using Python? Show me their full details. Okay, these are the companies who are using Python. I can ask questions related to recent news. Let's ask some questions related to people and company join. So if I ask, let me copy. Show me the employees of. Okay, so this company has these employees. Okay. And this is the company ID for this. So this looks good. This is working as expected. Let's ask to create some chart. Show me the bar chart of employees by gender. Okay. So this is working perfect as expected. All the features are working. We have tested. We have 6 total messages done in this conversation, 2 files uploaded. We have tested the delete and preview feature and the chat feature, all working perfect. So this was all about this project. Thanks for watching. The GitHub repo of this project is linked in the description. If this helped you, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.